disaster. The MASH unit known as Galatasaray walk into Rams Park and lose in the Champions League for the first time since we lost to Young Boys in the Champions League. So many players are hurt. Fenerbahce's coming up on Monday. What are we going to do? We're going to talk about it on the Galatasaray Show. Welcome back to the Galatasaray Show. I'm Brad. Back with us this week, it's Serkan. Say hi, Serkan. Serkan is what, any of you guys ever watch Dora the Explorer? We'll be like, Serkan's what we call a sadist. He doesn't record videos when we win. He likes to record videos after we lose. Can you say that word with me, boys and girls? Sadist?
I made a promise. That's why I'm here today. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here.
I understand.
I'm just keeping my promise.
Welcome again to the world's #1 English Galatasaray YouTube show and podcast, the Galatasaray Show. I hit my table. Again, thanks everyone for all the support. Everybody out there on the socials, the Instagrams, the Twitters, the TikToks, our channel. I appreciate everything. It means so much to us. Everything been going great in the Champions League. Everything had been going great since that disaster at Frankfurt until today. Now, I won't lie, I was a little worried about this game because let's review, Serkan. Let's start at the back. Everybody that we're missing. We'll go to left back. We started a somewhat injured Jakobs, who had to come off because we don't have Aaron Elmia, who's for some reason now suspended in Europe in addition to the Super League. And this appeal that they talked about weeks ago, I haven't heard anything about the appeal at all. So we'll talk about that. So we really had no healthy left back for this game. During the match, Jakobs goes out. And so then all of a sudden, 18-year-old Arda Ünyay comes in. And if you've watched this show, you've heard me say many times in games where we're winning and we could substitute somebody in. Why don't we substitute in Arda? We might need him someday. Serkan, do you remember me saying things like this?
Yeah.
Yeah. And what happened today? We had to substitute him in because we needed him. And guess what he hasn't been doing? He hasn't been playing. He played some on Saturday, and that's the first game he's played in any meaningful minutes all year. And so then what happens today? He has to play a lot of minutes for the first time ever. And where does he get to play them? In the Champions League. That's why I fuss sometimes we don't play these young players in the matches against the Union Saint-Gilloise and the Rizes and these people. We keep playing the veterans so we can share minutes with everybody. But then when we need these young people, they're not ready. So that was our left back situation. Let's go to right back. We had no Singo. Singo's injured once again. Why? Because it looked like we rushed him back from when he was hurt the last time. Why do you think Singo got hurt again?
He played so many games.
But he's young.
He came from the national team. I think Okan was going to play him as a center back after his injury, but then we had some injured players, so he decided to play him as a right back eventually.
Right.
But his new position, I think he's going to play as a center back when he comes from the injury.
Which blows my mind because we're paying him this money. We haven't had a proper right back since we lost such a boy. We got this guy, and he's supposed to be a great at that position, and he had been, but he can't stay on the field. So we're missing both ends of our defense. Then we go into the midfield. We thought he was going to play. The way they talked about Lamina after the Union Saint-Gilloise game, it sounded like he was going to play. But then he didn't play. So now we're missing another piece of our defense. And who plays in his
Jakobs.
spot? Sara.
Well, before we talk about those players individually, let's just talk about the squad depth because it's clearly not where it needs to be. This is our problem to start with, the squad depth.
I know, but remember, it can't be a problem because Okan and Dursun Özbek said at the end of the transfer window, these are all the transfers we're going to make. This is the team we need.
This is what we've been going through for the past 3 years. We keep making the same mistake over and over again. That's unbelievable.
Well, I'll give them a break when you look at it this way. So you lost Lamina, right? We hadn't been great there since we sold Lamina the first time. And so how are you going to replace Lamina if you couldn't replace him for a year and a half? And then where I think we're really hurt is you go up top, and we've seen it all year. Oh, well, here's the stat. We've scored 8 goals in the Champions League. Osimhen has scored 6. Yunus has scored 2. Guess who didn't play today? Anyone who has scored any goal in the Champions League. And you saw it. So Yunus is by far our most creative playmaker. Out. Osimhen is the number 1 or 2 best striker in the world, depending on who you talk to. Out. And so I didn't know how Okan was even going to put a team together that was competitive. I mean, let's be honest.
Don't you see a problem with that?
I
Like
do.
all these
Look,
players are injured. Are they injured in the training sessions or are they injured at the games?
So here's one thing. 10 days ago, Galatasaray fired their strength and conditioning coach. And I haven't seen who they've hired, if they have hired someone. But it just seemed odd. It seemed odd timing to me. Usually you don't change coaches unless it's a coaching change, overall coaching change. You wouldn't change your strength coach. So it's odd to me. So that could be part of it, is that they didn't like where this was going, and so they fired the coach. But you know, I work out and train. You're not going to change a team's like fitness or their muscles in 3 weeks. That's not going to work.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I can't remember. I've been a fan for 23 years. I cannot remember any team with this many injuries. This was the one thing we talked about that we could not weather and be successful as injuries. And again, have you ever seen this many?
No.
It's almost like a joke. Like I'm watching the Gençlerbirliği game Saturday, and I'm just seeing they're dropping like flies.
I mean, accidents happen, right? So players get injured. It's not the first time that we're having injured players. But when you look at Galatasaray's bench, the issue is not that there are no players. It is that the quality drop from the first 11 to the substitutes is too big. There's a huge gap.
Yes.
So in big teams like us, I mean, we play the Champions League games, right? We play the Turkish Super League games, then the Turkish Cup games. The bench should be close to the starters.
They should
And
be.
that's not what we have right now. I mean, I'm not worried about Osimhen being injured or Lamina being injured. Shit happens. It's inevitable. I'm just worried about our bench, the players that we have on our bench. That's what's killing us right now.
Like today, Yusuf was on the bench. I'm like, why? You're not going to play him after that?
Yusuf was not on the bench, no.
Who? Yeah, he was.
He was not, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, just double check that.
Because I was shocked to see his name on there. And so,
you sure Yusuf was on the bench?
Yeah. Look at that picture I sent you.
Okay. Interesting.
And so if you didn't see the bench, It was basically the U21s. We looked like Fenerbahce trying to play a Turkish Cup. But yeah, we rolled them out there. Now we only saw one. I was a little shocked that we didn't see Jara come on when we were like the last 15 minutes. Because in that situation, if Osimhen had started and we hadn't scored, wouldn't he have brought a Cardi on it, like say the 60-minute mark, 60, 65? So we're gonna break down the problem with the games now. So this is gonna be our tactical part. So we're missing all the starters, but the problem was the people that started, a lot of them sucked. Ilkay looked like someone that has not played in 3 weeks.
That's not his fault. He was
Well, I
out for
know.
like almost 4.5 weeks, so that's not his
I'm not.
fault.
Well, I'm not saying Ilkay sucks. I'm just saying that he was very ineffective. Very ineffective. That's why I said I thought that maybe he would take Ilkay out and bring in Jara to try to just get a shot off. So you take him out, and then the roller coaster ride with Leroy Sané continues. This was not one of his better outings. He's dribbling, and he's just dribbling it right into the defender's feet. He just kept giving balls away.
Well, he had no other options. What else he
Well,
was going to do?
back away from the defender and try to find some space to shoot? I don't know. That's his job.
That's what he tried.
It didn't work.
Again, I'm not trying to blame any of our players. It's just a matter of having not quality players on the bench.
No, at this part of the game, that didn't matter. The bench didn't matter at this point. At this point,
All these players are eager.
You started Icardi, Barish, anybody would take him. Sane, anybody would take him. Ilkay, Torreira, Shalai's out there. Davidson, Abdul Karim. You still got a team. It didn't look like we had an offensive plan. We look lost.
You cannot have an offensive player when Icardi is on the pitch.
So that's my thing. Icardi scored that goal Saturday, and everybody forgot about how immobile he's looked. Now he looks more immobile than has been, but today, no matter what we did, one thing, their defenders were so tall. We love crossing the ball in the box. They all just kept getting knocked out, knocked out, knocked out. You were going to cross it in there. And then the opportunities that we got, we just blew them. Sara played better today, had a great shot off the bar. We've now hit the bar 3 times in the last 2 games. That's what I'm talking about. Somebody's put an evil eye on us. Everybody's getting hurt. We're hitting the bar right and left. So somebody's put an evil eye on us.
So you're trying to explain this mess
and then,
with an evil eye, really?
And then we have a great chance, like in the 75th minute. The ball falls to a player's feet right in front of goal. And who did it fall to? Davidson, our defender. That's how bad this game was. The one great chance we have, it's not Icardi, it's not Barish, it's not Sane, it's Davidson. And he Kerem Artikolus it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Deep into the Istanbul night. Deep into the Istanbul night.
This is the sign of a squad that relies heavily on 11, 12 core players, with the rest forming a safety net rather than competitive depth. That's what I've been trying to say. So again, I'm kind of repeating. I'm kind of repeating myself here, but the problem is the bench players.
Yeah, but the bench shouldn't have mattered the first 45, 50 minutes.
It did. We could have rested some of those players, right?
Maybe. Oh, I see what you're saying. If we had a bench, then Lamina wouldn't have been playing so much all along.
Exactly. That's what I've been trying to say. So we're just talking about this game, but let's just look at the 4 games that we played in the past 4 weeks, then you'll see what I'm talking about.
Well, yeah, we're playing. Yeah, of course, we played the same starters all the time. But you're talking about the injuries. I mean, friggin' Burkhan, who's a decent substitute, he gets hurt training. Ilkay and Burkhan didn't even get hurt in the games. They got hurt training. That's how bad it is.
And I had national games. That's why Icardi was not playing today. He got injured twice in the
Yes.
past 4 months because of those national games.
Mhm. And if you go back and you listen to all these people talk about why the big, say, English clubs didn't sign Osimhen, about 3 or 4 on the list was injuries. And we've seen it. This is the second time he's been hurt this year. So you're paying him all this money, and I hate it. I hate it because he was healthy all last season, but
Yeah.
he's been on the pitch half the time this year. There's a reason Icardi is our leading goal scorer. It's because Osimhen's been healthy up till now for Champions League games, but he's barely played in the league.
I have super low energy today.
You need to drink your Red Bull so it give you wings. I'm drinking Rize chai out of my Galatasaray cup. It's a
Nothing is
rainy
gonna cut me today.
it's a rainy cool day today, so I'm doing that.
Yeah.
So let's talk about their goal. So their defender, Promise, the Canadian, gets a yellow card. Later in the game, he comes in like a sledgehammer on Urjan. That would have been a card anytime, anywhere. But they don't give it to him. And minutes later, he scores and they sub him off right away. And in my
Because he was
opinion,
gonna
he
get a
should
red
not have
card.
even been on the field to have scored that goal.
Yep.
And this was the same referee, by the way, that refereed the Galatasaray Manchester United 3-3 game at home 2 years ago. But
Yep.
tons of cards in this game. Of course, we got way more than they did. So he seemed much quicker to brandish cards towards our players than theirs. Davidson got a card for crashing into a guy. Nothing hit him. You looked at the replay, even the announcer said, "Why did you get the card?" But then you can run over our keeper and nothing happens. So I am a little salty about that. That was very, that shouldn't have happened. You take that out of it, we still don't score, but at least we get a point. But so and you can see what you're talking about with the bench. The only substitution we made the entire game. Am I right? Arda was the only sub.
Right.
Those starters played all of them played the entire game. You had all these little guys waiting on the bench. Nope, didn't trust any of them. So they all played 90 plus minutes. And of course, you see Union Saint-Gilloise. They're all healthy. They're coming in and out, 4 or 5 of them. Us, we make one. I can't remember I can't remember a time we only substituted one player in a game. And that's going back, I'm going back years, kids. Back in the day, you could only substitute 3 players. COVID came and now you can substitute 5. I don't remember just doing a sub back when you could do 3. Now you'd only do 2 because if the keeper got hurt, you were screwed. But yeah, we subbed 1 player out the entire game. So yeah, it was not good. I kept hoping we'd score a miracle goal somewhere. We had our chances. We just didn't convert. So we'd lose for the first time since September. And so as of now, we're still in 9th place. And this isn't going to kill us. The problem is because we might not, we can still make the top 8 depending on what happens. But the top 24,
That's a wishful thinking.
we still can. Again, we just need our players back. That's what we need. We just need. You tell me, if Yunus and Osimhen played today, we win this game 3-1. Easy. They were not a creative team. They were not. There's a reason they lost 4-0 and 3-0 in games. They're just not a creative team. But we didn't have a reliable goal threat. And Union Saint-Gilloise is not Gensher Bali. We weren't going to score 3 points against them in the second half because of talent. And so that happens. And yeah, going forward, our next game is 2 weeks away versus Monaco at Monaco. Again, a very winnable game. Osimhen should be back for that game. Yunus could possibly be back for that game. Singo will not be back for that game. Aaron's suspension will not be over by then either. And so we'll need to get Jakobs healthy, keep Barish healthy, because if not, Arda's going to be playing a lot more. Because, like you said, we don't have anybody else.
It's so chaotic. I'm telling you.
It is. Well, that's our take on the debacle that happened today. If you know some other reason why we lost, please tell us in the comments. Like the show, subscribe to the channel, and then we'll be back in a couple days with our Fenerbahce preview for the game on Monday. That's going to be fun. It'll be more like analyzing. I feel like we're going to turn into doctors on this show. We're not going to be YouTube people anymore. We're going to be doctors. Who's healthy and who's not? Who can play? We're going to come around like bandages on our heads. But again, hang in there, Galatasaray Nation. We've been down before. We're still in good shape. We still have 9 points. We're ahead of where we were last year. We still got 3 games to go. We can do this. Tell them, Serkan.
Not today.
Everything's going to be all right. Everything's going to be all right.
Everything's gonna be alright.
Everything's going to be all right.
La.
Tamam arkadaşlar. Hadi en büyük CimBom. Hoşça kal.
Funny.